I know from long experience that race puts blinders on people. I don't object to black militancy. I even facilitate the hiring of black militants. We don't turn aside people from caregivers who have hardcore black militant views. It's not really going to affect my work that if they disapprove of it. But one of the things I know from long experience with Seattle and Pittsburgh is that when I talk about appealing to Midori Goto under the circumstances of being cased by a Beatles magnate and a lawyer for the Broadway musical of Hair named Amanda Harcourt. You can review that, you can check that. There was evidence that she was working with the Supreme Court and promoting the script of Gail Burstyn, which means that the SCOTUS is a secret council of Trump's United States who were behind the attack that Gail Burstyn got away with because of the views of the Beatles hegemony. And when it comes to the idea that I got tricked by a Fight Club into a one-night stand with a woman from India who was setting up a legal challenge from Obama and Clarence Thomas to the normal allowance that I would be given as the son of distinguished, grandson of distinguished citizens of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, Topeka, couple who were married 66 years. And Midori Goto advocating for my rejection. Blacks tend to smile and say, well, that's fitting. I don't think they realize what's at stake, which is, I mean, some of them do. I know there's a cadre of people who agree with Obama and Clarence Thomas about the whole Holy War operation, but the appeal to Midori Goto was not purely romantic. It was generational. It was an attempt to get help and companionship in attempts to warn people that this was underway. So the idea that it was a pussy ball exchange equity system promotes the war game that was clocked to a genocidal monstrosity in such a way as to negate and cancel out the attempt to warn as being more relevant than a one-night stand. And behind it, of course, you have the bohemian occultist of King Crimson. Someone, Anthony Levin, an Israeli defense warrior, I guess, working with another Zion Zio wannabe. I mean, if you get into the mentality of the fabric of the character exchanges, the sort of mentations that they, like there's a book about Gurdjieff and in fact on the Harlem Renaissance. It's very deep and resonant. You have to get it. It's very small print. It's for people who are have excellent vision. It's for the ultra class of the super race. You would see that Woody Allen and Maya Farrow had this thing going, in the drama and the art of life. But when you look at the basic stratego of the circumstances, you see, like today, there was a man who said Clarence Thomas denied black people safety in their mail-in voting by saying that the postal workers could withhold mail if they so chose. He ruled in the majority decision to that effect. Well, the nativism of the idea that the black man is always right is what got Obama elected. And now they're complaining because they don't want to look at the fact that failure to warn was mandatory in the Fight Club exchange operation. Because the people who had been warned, they would have put a stop to this war again and said, what gives here? But the Harlem Renaissance has an occult that goes back to the 1920s, working with the Beatles establishment, with Ouspensky, the British Italian fascists, and through Hollywood. And I think that what muscleheads in the Black Power movement will try to say is that the attack itself was an attack on black people. It was done with the help of black people. There was no one single idea of black person at work. The book about the Harlem Renaissance people in Gurdjieff's group is about the making of a new race, a human race. And of course, we know that they were building an arc of colors. So there is an element of commonwealth to the idea that we all need to be protected from such an odious think-a-thon. Because these people have their spinner beanies and know how to manipulate prejudicial viewpoints. I mean, that should be a check-in and a balance on the review of the idea that black makes right, the way that the idea that white makes right has to be checked. So, I mean, it's a tear gas of sorts. It came out of the power structure of the administration. It's obviously sad for me personally because it led to the idea that mutilating me was some kind of answer to the God-given prayers of the civil rights movement. And look what they did to Gaza.